Hey guys, Richard here. So in this video, I want to talk to you about lock it. Now this is stage 4 of the 5-stage Bottleneck Buster Method. And this is extremely important. This is going to stop whatever you've started to think about as far as fixes are concerned going backwards. So you'll see that there is 5 stages here. We've gone through find it, map it and fix it. Basically, that's how to find the issue in the first place, map out what's going on within that part of the process, and then put certain fixes in place. And this is how we make sure things don't go backwards. So there's 3 different reasons that basically things can start to go backwards. First of all, many processes are living inside people's heads. They're not written down, they're not documented, and basically the knowledge has been within 1 or 2 people within a business. That's very difficult when they go on leave, they go on the sick, or basically you're trying to onboard new people because it's not documented. It's not easy to get that knowledge out of someone. So that's one reason why we need to make sure that things are kind of starting to get documented when we're making these fixes. Secondly, that someone's left or got busy. The owner of the knowledge transitioned roles or left the company, taking the fix with them. This is very common again, similar to the first one, but basically that person hasn't intentionally kept it all to themselves. They've actually just left the role. And again, it's not documented. And thirdly, a busy week brought the old way back. So if you start to get too busy and you think this process is relatively new and you're not really used to it, you'll start to revert back to the way you used to do things. And that's very common. So you need to kind of put something in place to avoid these 3 scenarios. So here's the mechanism and how to lock in a fix. Firstly, we want a standard. We want a single page documenting exactly how we do something. And I'll go through why it needs to be a single page afterwards. Then we need an owner, one specific name who's responsible for the outcome of this particular process. Not a committee of people, one person who actually owns that part of the process. And thirdly, we want to develop that habit, a brief check built directly into the existing system to make sure that we're actually carrying out that part of the process. It could be some kind of metric that we're monitoring on an ongoing basis, or some other method that we're actually checking this thing on an ongoing basis. Now here's the key with the 1-pager, and this is why I kind of want you to think about developing a 1-page instruction for this particular fix that you're going to put in place. If you have a 50+ page long manual, think about when you buy a car. Have you ever read the manual all the way through? I'm sure you haven't. Those types of things are far too much for somebody to start referring to all the time. It's usually written once, it's hidden in a drawer, and basically you only get asked to use it if you're punishing someone and you say, go and read this entire manual, right? Not very good. What you need to do is get a 1-pager. So you're going to have a 1-page instruction. It's pinned to some wall, it's used daily, and then it can evolve over time depending on what you see with that particular part of the process. So we're looking at what this type of thing covers on a 1-page. So you're looking at a single sentence at the top left-hand corner that defines what the scope of the actual part of the process is. Then you're looking for an owner. So the top right is the person who owns that part of the process. And we want a name, not a department, ideally, because that'll give us a very specific person to go to. And then we have the steps. So this is almost the process steps that you have within that particular process. That takes up the main body of that particular part of the process. And then we want to know what good looks like. So on the bottom left, we look at some kind of metric that tells us what good looks like. And then on the bottom right, we want a date. These are why these can be maintained over time, because the steps can slightly change. The owner might slightly change. This is a kind of living document that you're going to use, but everything's there. I can get to that part of the process very quickly and understand what's going on within that part of the process without really understanding anything else, just by looking at this document. So I'm going back to my example I've been using as I run through these various videos. We decided to change the quoting process of a particular part of the process to make that faster. That's still in use 6 months later. We've used all of these techniques. We've mapped out the process. We've found the issue, and now we've put a fix in place, and we fixed it by documenting exactly what's supposed to go on, who owns it, and what good looks like. And if we can do that, you're going to see that things stick a lot easier. So when we're talking about how we check these things on a regular basis, there may be certain huddles that you have that you can use maybe on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, whatever makes sense to that particular fix, that you can use to check that it's still going on. And it's a standardized way of checking it. It could be looking at the metrics, having a word with the people that actually do the process just to make sure that this becomes a habit on a regular basis. If we can do that, we know things aren't going to slip. So this week, I want you to lock one fix in place. I want you to write the one-page standard, which is that document that tells you exactly what you're supposed to do. I want you to make sure you locate an owner for that particular fix, to make sure you have the person that actually is named on that particular sheet. And then I want you to incorporate a check into one of your daily, weekly, whatever it is, routines. And that's very important that you have some kind of checkpoint you use on a regular basis. So that's the task for this week. In the next video, I'm going to go through watch it, and that kind of completes the Bottleneck Buster method. If you're interested in these types of videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell, and I'll let you know whenever I produce new videos. And guys, if you want to learn about waste and how to locate waste and size the waste in your business, go and hit the link in the description below. There's a good little tool there on my website that you can use completely for free, and it's going to help you do just that. Until next time, guys, take care.